Welcome to Brew Crime, the podcast where we drink brews, talk crime, conspiracies, historical stuff, or whatever catches our attention. This is Mike and my co-host.
JT, yeah, I'm glad
Woo!
you just slipped that in there.
Or natural disasters, just a little slip.
Every now and again we like to give it like a little break, a little palate cleanser. It's not to say that this isn't going to be as rough, but it certainly isn't like, you know, serial killers.
Yes.
So,
Mother Earth is kind of mean in both of these stories, but
and you know what? Other than the obvious tragedy and loss of life, I would say maybe she has a point.
yes.
At this point, it's
Well,
just
especially yours, not mine, but yeah.
well, yeah, I mean, she definitely makes there's a big old exclamation mark point that she makes. It's just
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't get angry at her because then you get out in your car and you turn it on and drive somewhere. So,
Truth. So, how's things?
oh, children.
So wonderful. All right.
Oh yeah, it's okay. I really can't complain. It's been quite busy. But we I I've got nothing, man. I took
We
photos at
busy.
an event and yeah, we're busy. We're just all over. My brain is too, and this is about the time that my ADHD meds start wearing out. So this is
Uh-oh.
where I'm at.
This is where you get way too productive, but not with the same thing.
Right? It's true. I found out that having taken these, I get super productive, but if I'm focused on the wrong thing, I'm super productive, but not really. So,
Yes.
but I'm really good at paying attention to like trials and stuff. So
That's good.
great for me, probably bad for everybody that has me on their feed on Twitter, but here we are.
Whatever, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we kind of alluded to it, but we're gonna do natural disasters, but we're gonna focus on volcanoes this time, and we'll probably come back to this in the future.
And we will try and limit the jokes about eruptions. Probably not. I'm
Probably
promising
not.
something I can't deliver.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God. Well, I guess I'll start with my title and then I'll do the pairing.
Yes.
So the earth shook before the world burned. This is the history of the Tseax eruption of northern British Columbia.
That is an awesome title. That is like a metal album title, like a
You get it
doom
right
metal
once in a
album.
while.
That's so good. That is so foreboding and cool, except, the story. But
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I can't wait. All right, what's the beer?
All right. Well, unfortunately, it's hard to get northern BC beer down here on the south coast. So I went a little different. I found a beer from Iceland, which has got a lot of friggin' volcanoes too. So it's the Garun Icelandic Stout from Borg. I forget how to pronounce or say brewery there.
Bjorg.
It's very different. But this is their NR19. It's a 11.5% imperial stout.
I really like how you said it's hard to get northern BC beer, and then you said, but I got a beer from Iceland.
Yes. Well, most of the breweries in northern BC are very small, so they don't distribute.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like you get it in their town or maybe sort of in the north, and that's about it.
That's about it. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas this brewery is fairly large, and they ship
Yeah.
this one beer for the most part to BC. I don't
Gotcha.
know if there's any other ones. And this bottle is actually from 2022, so it's been aging for a while, which is a-okay for this type of beer.
Yay!
So it's jet black.
Whoa.
Yeah, brown head on it.
Like
It's got kind of a sweet, chocolatey, roasty
ooh.
thing going on. I think my nose is broken right now because I'm not smelling a ton, and I know it's a bit like a very aromatic beer.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's definitely like lots of chocolate notes and some caramel and light bitterness, a bit of earthiness, bit of roast. It's really good. Doesn't taste like 11.5%.
That's the danger.
Mm-hmm. Although it's kind of warm in here. I don't want to warm up with a alcohol beer.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Many people know that British Columbia is a hotspot for earthquakes, seeing as we have an average of 400 earthquakes each year, from the north end of Vancouver Island down to Seattle, Washington.
And that's just when I go out for a walk.
Ah! Now, these earthquakes are usually small. One in 2001 hit Seattle in the Puget Sound area, though, that was 6.8 magnitude and caused $2 billion in damage. It could be felt all the way up into Vancouver.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, they do happen.
Mm-hmm.
We even know that there could be a huge 9.0 earthquake one day that would cause mass destruction and devastation.
Is this one of those things where the scientists say it could happen tomorrow or it could happen 100 years from now? That's your window.
Yes, but I think I get into it here actually, but
okay.
They can tell when those last 9.0 earthquakes were.
Mm-hmm.
And in the averages, we're way overdue. Yes. So while people know this about BC, many do not know that there are 4 distinct volcanic ranges within British Columbia and the Yukon territories that even stretch into Alaska.
Whoa.
Yeah. These are the Garibaldi Volcanic Belt, the Anaheim Volcanic Belt, the Wells Gray Clearwater Volcanic Field, and the Northern Cordilleran Volcanic Province, or NCVP. Metro Vancouver has a population of around 2.6 million people, and it sits right in the Garibaldi Volcanic Belt.
It's like somebody looked up and saw a volcano and said, good spot. You know?
Well, I mean, truthfully, all you have to do is look south to Washington State, and you see Mount Baker.
Wow.
And you can see it from almost everywhere in Metro Vancouver. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, in the last 10,000 years, British Columbia and the Yukon have seen at least 49 volcanic eruptions, with the most recent one being around 150 years ago.
That's really relatively not long ago.
No. Of that, at least 37 have taken place in the Northern Cordilleran Volcanic Province, including the latest 2 eruptions. So the second most recent eruption was the eruption of the Tseax Cone, which is actually spelled Tseax.
All right.
Using scientific means and oral tradition from the Nisga'a First Nations, who still live in the shadow of the Tseax today, they have been able to arrive at the range of dates between 1675 and 1778 CE. So it's not that long ago, truthfully.
No, considering how long people have been in Canada, no.
Exactly.
No. And we've learned that in the past, everybody.
Yes.
You are well informed.
Let's not forget to give you an idea of where the eruption happened.
Oh, I can tell you where it happened. All right.
Yeah. This is northern British Columbia, a 1,439 kilometer or 894 mile drive from the city of Vancouver, close to the Alaska Panhandle, but still only just over halfway up the province.
You know what? If anybody was confused as to how big Canada is, that'll give you a great idea, you know?
Yeah. It is only about 88 kilometers or 54 miles from the closest small city, Terrace.
Oh, right there.
The Nass Valley was home to multiple Nisga'a villages on the shore of the Nass River, as well as a fish camp up the Tseax River Valley, as well as smokehouses where the Tseax River Valley met the Nass Valley. So, lots of indigenous people living in that valley.
Right.
What we do know is that there was a buildup of earthquakes leading up to the eruption. There is some talk that this could be part of a larger seismic event in BC, although scientific papers are less willing to make this connection. On January 26, 1700, there was an earthquake off the Pacific coast where the Juan de Fuca plate ruptured just partway up Vancouver Island to northern California, a distance of 1,000 kilometers or 620 miles, causing an earthquake between 8.7 and 9.2.
Listen, for everybody out there, I am not a medical expert, but when your Juan de Fuca plate ruptures, you should go to see a doctor.
Yes.
Just gonna toss that out there.
And the doctors are gonna be very busy if that one ruptures again.
Yes, and they're gonna be very confused as to why you're there. And then you're gonna go see another type of doctor, in a different type of hospital.
Yes. So this was a mega thrust earthquake, and it caused a tsunami from Canada to Japan, and can be traced through historical records. There's actually historical records in Japan for that earthquake, which is amazing.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, from 1700.
Well, you know, the records state it shook.
Yeah. There you go. As a side note, these earthquakes of 8.0 or higher happen on average every 570 to 590 years in the Cascadia subduction zone. But the last 13 historical big earthquakes like this have happened with intervals of between 300 and 900 years. If you do the math, it is a bit ominous for sure. 1700 to today.
This is why I'm happy that I don't do math.
Yeah. But a quake of this size could be felt a long distance away, and earthquakes have been seen to change volcanic activity, be it eruptions or diversions of hot springs and steam vents. But while this earthquake could make sense as a cause, we'll never know for sure. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of written tradition. It was all oral tradition from the First Nations for the most part.
Right. And at this point, we all know how good we are at listening.
Yes.
You know.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of that tradition was lost because of, ancestors.
I see where
on
you're
our
going
end.
with that
Yes,
one. Yes.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Go us. I guess.
White people.
Oh, white people. You're not wrong.
Yeah. We do know, though, that after seismic activity, a column of smoke could be seen from the location of Tseax Cone from a distance away. Niska communities not in the path of the volcano would mention the eruption.
Wow.
But there is no doubt those in the future path of destruction would know something was up. Let's talk about the geography of the area a bit. The Tseax Cone is up a fairly steep walled mountain valley. Crater Creek runs down from the cone area and drains into the Tseax River that runs down the valley and works its way to the Nass River, which is the much larger river valley.
Mm-hmm.
The fish camp we mentioned earlier was located about halfway down the Tseax River. As the Tseax River drops into the Nass River Valley, the slope becomes very shallow and also opens up very wide.
Mm-hmm.
So on the shores of the Nass River, there were 3 different Niska villages. Some sources say 2, but the scientific papers all agree on 3. So I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, that's a safe bet.
Yeah. When the eruption began, oral history is quoted as saying they saw a big pillar of smoke. It was as if a house was burning on top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Through oral history again and scientific measurements, it is thought the column of smoke would have been a few kilometers high to be seen by the wider Niska villages. So it was a big column.
Yeah, that's a big ass house on fire.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So here's another oral historical quote. The people saw the flames coming towards them in huge, swift currents. The fire then rolled down like a river.
God. That's horrifying.
Oh, yeah, totally horrifying, right? The eruption would take place over 2 main periods. These are known as Period A and Period B, and both periods had 2 distinct lava flows as part of them. First, a fissure opened up in the ground, likely 750 to 850 meters, so about 0.466 miles or 0.5 miles long.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
The
Big hole in the
mouth,
ground.
just the mouth of hell.
Yeah, exactly.
Open.
Flow 1 of the eruption would put out 84% of all of the lava that would flow from this volcano. So it's a huge flow at first.
Yeah.
Of that, 65% would make it down into the Nass Valley.
Sorry, did you say 60%?
65%.
God. Damn.
Yeah. Just in time for the valley to open up, right?
Right. Like you're used to like seeing lava like disperse and cool and stuff, but the fact that 60% still made it, that tells you just how much there was coming.
Absolutely. The lava would travel down the Crater Creek Valley 5 kilometers and then head down the 15-kilometer valley of the Tseax River Valley. 25 hours after the eruption began, the lava was down Crater Creek Valley and the Tseax River Valley, destroying the fish camp and the smokehouses.
No.
It would then begin to fan out in the Nass Valley. So here's some more oral historical quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Other accounts suggest that the villages were engulfed by a slow-moving lava flow. The fire came down the side in their direction, but not as fast as forest fire. It moves down slowly, very slowly. So it's like a slow moving fire.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to kind of pull myself out of where we are currently and everything we know science-wise and put myself
Yeah.
in that position where it's just like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
Right? And
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
knowing much about it and just knowing that something is coming and boy, things are getting lit up, right?
Yeah. Boy, howdy. Things aren't
It's
good.
got boy, boy, howdy. I'm sure, is that part of oral tradition too?
Of course it is. Yes. Southern United States oral tradition. Boy,
Boy,
howdy.
howdy. In
And
stereo.
yeah, I'm gonna butcher a couple names here. I'm gonna try. They'll be wrong. I apologize. So the first village, Laxalux, would have been fully engulfed in lava and fire within 32 to 41 hours after the eruption began. Next would be the village of, I'm just gonna spell it because I can't actually pronounce this. Laxksiwihlgest.
All
So
right.
it would be destroyed 37 to 53 hours after the eruption began. The last village to be destroyed would be Sutsap, maybe 43 to 69 hours after.
So did it say, you might get to this, did it say that the people basic left or?
We'll get to it.
All right, we're going to get to it.
Yeah. This flow would push the Nass River to the far side of the valley, diverting it quite away from its original banks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Lava flow 1 is thought to have continued for between 10 and 100 days. So the whole flow would reach a total of about 31.6 kilometers or 19.6 miles long.
Holy. Good God.
So you got to think like the Hawaiian volcano on the Big Island. It's kind of the similar kind of eruption. So the real horrors would have likely happened after the villages burned, though. The lava was slow moving enough that people could escape on foot from the lava and likely the fires that it started. Oral tradition says that some people canoed to the other side of the river to escape death. When the lava hit the river, though, it is likely that a laze or fog was created. This is a choking dense cloud of vaporized water and volcanic gases, including carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide.
That's a theme. Next
Yeah.
episode. Yep.
There could have also been hydrofluoric acid and sulfuric acid. This would be a highly toxic, burning, and asphyxiating fog.
There, you can't escape that.
No, you can't. Some people are believed to have tried to swim across the river, but summer flows in that river are very strong, and anyone that attempted to swim would have likely drowned.
Oh, God.
Some oral tradition also said that people tried to escape the toxic fog by heading into caves. CO2 in the atmosphere causes rapid unconsciousness, and at higher than 11% causes death. So hydrogen sulfide, hydrofluoric acid, and sulfuric acid at 0.1% is lethal. It's safe to say that the majority of the deaths caused by this disaster were likely caused by the laser fog and not by the actual lava itself. This eruption is still one of the worst disasters in Canadian history. It is estimated that 2,000 Niska died from this eruption.
God.
Yeah.
All right.
So flow 2 of period A would be made up of around 13% of the lava volume. That's right. The volcano was still active.
Oh my God.
Flow 2 is thought to have only taken place over like 5 to 10 days and only made it to the mouth of the Nass Valley, just touching where the smokehouses were located before. So this flow would stretch 21.2 kilometers or 13.2 miles. So phase 2 would only make up 3% of the volcanic output and have two distinct flows, making up about 20 days. Flow 3 would only make it 7.2 kilometers or 4.5 miles, while flow 4 would make it 5.3 kilometers or 3.3 miles.
So there were two separate events.
Yeah, two separate periods with
but
two different
four
flows
total
each.
flows.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. In the end, the depth of the lava flow in the Nass Valley is about 12 meters or 39 feet deep. So there's now cliffs that weren't there before, right?
Oh my God. Yeah.
The flow depth in Crater Creek is upwards of 30.5 meters deep or 100 feet deep, while the Tseax Creek Valley had a depth of 22 meters or 72 feet. So you can kind of see how steep the Crater Creek was to have it that
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
This is the only volcanic event in Canadian history that was directly observed and recorded by people, as we are lucky enough to have the oral and written stories from the Nisga'a people.
Mhm.
With up to 2,000 dead, this is the deadliest volcanic eruption in Canada and very well could be the deadliest recorded effulsive eruption of direct impact in history. This was also approximately 1/3 of the Nisga'a population.
Oh no.
Yeah, like just awful.
That's terrible. It's like, obviously the two separate eruptions, the four flows is bad enough, but then, you run and you think you've gotten away from it, and then it hits the water, and then you've got the steam and everything else
Yeah.
happening too, and you thought you did and you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no end to the possible damage that volcanic eruptions can cause. I think
Yeah.
typically for me, and I don't know about, I don't want to speak for you, but I always just think, okay, lava, boom, it flows, that's it. But it's not.
No.
I have learned this over the past couple of weeks.
Well, and there's so many different types of volcanic events and volcanoes.
Right. Right. Exactly.
So here's a story that was published by the Nisga'a peoples themselves. Long ago, two children were playing down by the river. The one child caught a salmon and split open its back. The child stuck sticks into the salmon's back, set them on fire, and returned the fish to the river. The children were amused to see the salmon swim erratically, smoke rising from its back. The other child caught a salmon and split open its back, inserting a piece of shale, and put it back into the river. The salmon floated on its side, weighed down by the shale. The children laughed at the struggling fish. An elder happened upon the scene and warned the children, "Take care what you do. The salmon will curse you, and the Creator will respond in kind." The ground began to tremble and shake. Nature's harmony had been upset. A scout was sent to investigate. From the top of Genuex, I think is the pronunciation, he saw smoke and flame and ran to warn the people of their fiery destiny. In panic, some villagers fled up to the mountain. Others canoed to the far side of the river, but were killed by lava. As the people watched the lava flow over their villages, I can't pronounce the name, it's GWAXTS''AGAT, a powerful supernatural being suddenly emerged to block the lava's advance. For days, that powerful being fought back the lava by blowing on it with its great nose. Finally, the lava cooled and the great being retreated into the mountain where it remains to this day. So
That story started out very dark.
yeah,
um,
it's one
but
of those
I
like
get it. It's like
Brothers Grimm
Aesop's
stories and everything, right? Like they're
Brothers Grimm,
dark.
Aesop's fables, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like that. It's to teach a lesson, right? And but it's to teach a lesson based off of something that actually legitimately
yeah,
happened, which is horrifying.
agreed. So today, the Tseax eruption lightly ranks as the third worst environmental disaster in Canadian history, only behind the 1775 hurricane in Newfoundland that killed an estimated 4,000 people,
Wow.
and the 1700 megathrust earthquake I mentioned before. While there is no data on deaths, it would have been substantial for that earthquake. For American listeners and maybe British, the Newfoundland hurricane, this hurricane took place during the American War of Independence. Even more crazy, all three of the worst Canadian disasters likely took place within 100 years of each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was like Canada was like, no, go away. I don't
Yeah.
want you. You're not catching the drift.
Exactly.
Fine, whatever. Stick around.
It'd be wrong not to mention that this whole area is now a protected area. It was formerly known as Nisga'a Memorial Lava Bed Provincial Park, but it is now known by a new name that I cannot pronounce, unfortunately. I even tried. I reached out to a couple friends that are indigenous, and even though their Haida language is similar, they weren't 100% sure either. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I wish like the BC parks that have now that it's been changed should have a pronunciation guide because it's a very long name.
They should. But you know what? You done did your due diligence.
I tried.
Yeah.
So the park link will be in the show notes though, and it is some beautiful photos of the area. You can hike up to the Tseax cone, but only via guided tours from the park facility.
Mm-hmm.
You can also visit the Nass Valley or Niska Hot Springs. Let's finish the story off with the fact that while this volcano is dormant now, the northern Cordilleran Volcanic Province is the most active in Canada and has had 3 eruptions in the last 360 years. There are still hot springs and steam vents, though, so volcanic activity is still present. Today, there are 5 communities just outside the park, 4 being Niska villages. This area has a population in 2016 of about 1,000 people, plus tourism and the likes, and is still rated as having a moderate threat of new volcanic activity in the future.
Oh, great.
And that's the story of the Tseax Volcanic Eruption.
That is horrifying.
Yes.
I don't want it to happen again.
Me neither.
And you may have said this, and I may have already forgotten. Thank you, memory. But did you say there's still people around that area?
Yeah, just there's about 1,000 people that live
That's
there
right.
full
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Ooh, oh, kudos
Yeah.
to them. They've got bigger colonists than I ever
Well,
would.
that's where those Niska people are from, right?
That's
and
true.
then there's one
right?
non-indigenous community right there.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Well, we'll be back next week with another story of a volcanic disaster.
Yes.
Hopefully this has interested you.
Yeah, let us know, send us a message on social media. Mike's at Brew Crime and I'm at JT Brews Crime.
Yes.
And
I
we're
mean
on Facebook.
Yeah. If you like this, cool. And if not, let us know. We'd like to be able to pepper in some different stuff once in a while as a little bit of a palate cleanser.
Murder can be so
Dark.
hard and dark
Yeah.
and heavy and difficult. And, the crimes of rock weren't very helpful in terms of that. Those were very heavy.
Yep.
But, we did get some great response regarding your story. So that's great.
Yeah.
Some people were happy to hear about that. And not happy, but like, it's not a story.
Intrigued.
I feel like you were surprised too, but like, this is not a story that's really well known, that part. So, we like to pop in some random stuff now and again. Of course, you get that with Brewery, but in general.
Exactly. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to Brew Crime. You can find us on all social media platforms at Brew Crime. We have a Facebook group at Brew Crime, the group. If you would like to support the show, head to patreon.com/brewcrime now. Money goes towards upgrading equipment and making the show that much better. You get one episode or one bonus episode a month, as well as early ad-free access to our episodes. So shout out to our Patreon supporters. Jay is Rad, True Crime Nana, 3% Podcast, and the faves of our lives. Peace.
Bye.
All cases in Brew Crime are written by Mike and JT or a writer we credit on the episode, and sources are put into our show notes for each episode. We always want to give credit to the people that research the cases we talk about. Check out our store at tpublic.com/stores/brew-crime-podcast, where you can purchase gear like t-shirts, phone cases, stickers, pillows, and all kinds of other cool stuff. Brew Crime's intro was created by Mike using Creative Commons Attribution licensed audio from purple-planet.com, soundbible.com, and freesoundeffects.com. Logo designed by Ben Greenberg. Thanks for listening to this episode of Brew Crime Podcast.
Hi, I'm Lauren.
And I'm John.
And we host the Beard Owl Podcast, the podcast where we talk about 2 of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al.
And a bunch of other stuff.
That's right. Do you like nostalgia? Do you like sibling banter? Do you like beer? Do you like Weird Al? Are you human?
If you answered yes to any of those questions, give us a listen. Become one of our loyal commenters.
Oh well. It's that sour monkey that I like.
Yeah. The one that I had confiscated at the airport in Vegas. Yes.
How dare they? I really like that beer. It just has just enough sour and just enough hops.
Yeah. Brr.
And I pre-gamed with a PBR.
I was pre-gaming with homebrew.
Okay, that's a lot cooler though. See,
10.3%.
yeah, that's like 5 PBRs in one.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna hit the intro. Welcome to Brew Crime Podcast. Oh. Welcome. Wonder if that kid outside has stopped fucking screaming so I can open my window again. Nope. I'll cut that out. But I
Get
think
off
someone,
my lawn!
the little shit upstairs is on the deck and he's wailing away at something. I don't know. Yeah.
This is why we live in a house.
Yes. That word. It's the
I
double
set us
L.
up to. I set us up to laugh every time. That was my fault.
The double L. I'm so used to like that for like a Y sound now because of Spanish that it's like, no, it's not going to be a Y sound.
No.
Oh, what just happened? I went the wrong way. Where did I go? Fuck. I accidentally scrolled.
No. The accidental scroll. It'll get you every time.
Seismic. A false of for American listeners and maybe British and
French.
oh, sorry. Cordillera. There are still hot springs and steam vents, though. So I'm just gonna start that one again. Why can I not read today?
Well, it's not exactly the easiest name to pronounce.
Yeah, I've also had trouble speaking today, anyways.
Because you pre-gamed with your own brew.
No, even before that.
Oh, fair. Okay. All right.